This is BBS hearings for that day. Sorry, I said it the wrong way.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
Phil,
Go ahead.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administrator.
Jay Scurio, Department of License and Inspections.
Tom Rybakowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections.
okay,
I'm Brian
anybody
McSherry,
test-
Board Counsel.
Sorry. Good. Anybody testifying in this case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Please respond.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Washington, okay. All right, Jace or Phil, take over and put it into the record.
This is case number 2 on today's list, MI 2022-007586 for the property located at 5427 Irving Street. The appellant is Felicia Washington. Ms. Washington, will you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Sure. Felicia Washington, Washington.
Okay. Tom, you want to give us a little bit about this case?
So this is concerning the property at 5427 Irving Street. The department received an emergency call for the collapse that occurred at the property on or around December 23rd of 2022. We responded and the property was declared as eminently dangerous with an emergency curbside bid for demolition being conducted at that day as an emergency issue. The property was then in the hands of the demolition contractor, and the appellant or the occupant was told that we would be demolishing the property, and the only way to stop that demolition was to seek a stay of demolition in the forms of a temporary restraining order with the Court of Common Pleas, and was told to file that by the end of the day on Tuesday the 27th. That did not happen. A appeal to this board, to this appellant board, is what was filed, and that's what brings us to today's hearing.
One of the issues before we start, Ms. Washington, are you the heir or are you the owner of this building?
I am the power of attorney. My mother is a sickly woman. She's the heir. My deceased grandmother left her the property. I've been living there for 13 years now.
To the law department, does that mean Ms. Washington has standing?
I mean, we would ask if you could provide some type of, do you have documentation stating that you have the power of attorney to act on your mother's behalf?
Yes,
based
I
on her
do.
interest in the property?
Yes, I do have that, but I don't have it with me. I'm actually at work right now. I do have the paperwork stating that I'm power of attorney. My mother, she's actually in the hospital right now. I normally handle all the affairs as it relates to the property for her. And like I said, I've been the occupant for 13 years.
So, Ms. Washington, your mother is Joyce, or is that your grandmother?
That is my grandmother. My mother is Deanna Vega.
Okay.
Joyce Washington is deceased. She's dead.
Okay, I understand that. Sorry for your loss. With your mother, is she the only heir? Is she the minister of the estate, or how is the estate go?
She's the only heir. My grandmother left a will and leaving the property to my mother specifically.
Okay.
All right. So with that, would she have to produce the information? Ryan?
I would be comfortable letting it proceed based on her representations that her mother is the sole heir and owner of the property, and that she has power of attorney to act on her behalf in this matter.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
my position.
Go ahead, Tom.
No. So my position with the board is, Ms. Washington, do you have any documentation today in the forms of an engineer's report for the repair of the property or a permit application being filed with the department? There's nothing.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry to cut you off. The
No.
engineer he cannot come until this weekend. Not a contractor, an actual engineer. I had a contractor look at it, but someone informed me that the contractor doesn't fly, like it's not good enough. It has to be an actual engineer. So I didn't know that. So when I had the contractor come, it's like no good what he's telling me. I got to have an actual engineer.
Okay. Who is you have an appointment set up for this weekend for the engineer?
Yes, let me, I have to go on the phone.
And Tom, I think you had previously told us that L&I did go in and put up some temporary shoring.
The contractor was told to add shoring on the property, yes.
Is that done?
Shoring the beams that are holding it up.
Yes.
Yes, they did come out. My neighbor was more than nice. She allowed them to utilize her property to stick the beams against her property to hold up that wall.
Okay, so my only question is, Ms. Washington, are you still staying in the property?
No, they advised me that until the wall was fixed that I needed to relocate, and that's what I did.
Okay, so in the interest of due diligence, you have your engineer coming out this weekend, which would be the
Yes.
14th or the 15th of this month.
Right.
I'm gonna propose to the board that the engineer needs to come out and take a look at that property. I'm gonna ask for you to have a permit added into the system within the next 10 days. It's not 10 business days, it's 10 days. So I'm gonna be looking for a permit to be in the system within by Monday, by close of business, Monday the 23rd. If not, the city
Okay.
can move ahead with demolition. That's gonna be my position with the board.
Okay,
How do I go about, once the engineer writes his report, is that how I get the permit?
You would have to give that permit, that report to a contractor, and that contractor would have to apply for the permit. But the engineer can actually apply for a permit, and then once the permit gets close to issuance, a contractor can be added to that permit. But yes, a design professional can apply for a permit.
And Tom, how long does it take for the permit to be processed once it's applied for?
Once it's applied for, it would get an automatic review. So an automatic 5-day review. So if by chance they came in on the 23rd and applied for the permit and it was under review, then we wouldn't act because a permit was under review.
All right, so she just has to be submitted for a permit by the 23rd.
By COD of the 23rd, close of business.
okay. Ms.
So
Washington,
Felicia, you need a contractor and you need the engineer's report.
I understand. So how do they have to come to Center City in order to get the permit, or can they give me paperwork and I physically go do it? Or I have to rely on them to do it?
So the engineer would give you his or her report.
Right, so the contractor.
Well, that report would go to your contractor could apply for the permit. That report could go to you. You could apply for the permit, but here's the problem.
Okay. Right.
Because you're not on the deed. When permit services looked at the parcel, they might turn around and say, you're not the actual owner of the property. They might turn you away. So I would work with that engineer, because there are 5 entities that we will allow to apply for a permit. One's an attorney, an engineer, a contractor, an expediter, or the owner. So those are the 5.
What is the expediter? What is the expediter?
An expediter is a person who holds a license that is able to apply and pull permits.
Okay. Like a
Okay,
broker or?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so if I got a broker, he could apply as well.
It would have to be an expediter, but yes, technically, yes, you could have them pull the permit for you.
And just to be
Okay.
clear, your contractor also has to be a licensed contractor with the city.
that's,
Absolutely.
It can't just be a handyman or,
I know, he has to be
Okay.
licensed.
all right.
okay, all right. Okay, I'm good with it. Aim,
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe you go with
23rd.
it?
yes.
Ted, you're good,
I'm,
right?
I'm fine with that as well.
Okay, I'm fine with it. No problem. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right,
Ms. Washington,
bye-bye.
good luck.
Thank
Okay.
you. Okay.
Ah. Okay,
We're
go
still,
through the process.
okay,
We're
Okay,
Back on the record.
back on the record.
okay, this is for 4521 North Bovier Street.
You want me to read it in, Wayne?
Yeah, let us put I'm Wayne Miller, board member. We'll go through the whole process. Go
Amy
ahead.
Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scaria, Department of License and Inspections.
Thomas Rabikowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections.
Okay, the
Ryan-
appellant, oh, I'm sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
That's fine. And I'm Ryan McSherry, Board Counsel.
Okay, the appellant never showed up in the case, so therefore, the variance was denied.
We have to read it into the record from the
Put
beginning.
into the record, Phil?
I got it. This is case number
Okay.
1 on today's list. MI 2022-005-620 for the property located at 4521 North Bouvier Street. The appellant's name is Percy St. George. There is no answer to Percy St. George in the room.
Okay. That's it.
Ryan, do we need anything from Tom on the record?
Nope, that's fine. It's failure to appear, and Ellen
Okay.
doesn't need to make any further representations.
All right, thank you, Ryan.
Okie dokie. All right, Tom, hit the road.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you on the
You
next
too,
one.
Tom.
All right, bye, Tom.
Okay,
We-
Tom.
Take care.
Can we end the recording?
Yes, you can. Is everyone in?
Yes, Wayne, yes. We have 2 people,
Okay,
Joe and Adam.
okay. All right, let's get started. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Wayne,
Amy
you want me to read
Rivera,
it
board
first?
member.
Ted August, board member.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scaria, Department of License and Inspections.
And I'm Ryan McSherry, Board Counsel.
Okay, anybody testifying in the case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Please respond.
I'm Joe Berta, and I work for the architect.
Okay, you respond to tell the truth if you're testifying?
Yes,
Okay, anybody, who's the next guy?
and Adam Gear is the owner.
Okay, Adam, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
I
If you're
do. Thank you very much.
testifying?
Good afternoon.
Okay, how you doing, Adam?
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Good. Adam, will you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If you're testifying in the case, please respond to me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Jace, read it into the record.
This is case number 3 on today's list, MI 2022-007-598 for the property located at 1632 South Juniper Street. Mr. Berta, are you going to handle the case?
Correct. Yes.
Can you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Yes. Joseph Berta, JOSEPH BURDA.
All right, whoever's going to present the case, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to, is it okay if I share screen here?
Absolutely.
So I have the drawing set, but I took some snippets of it into a presentation just to take a look. So this is for, so we have a already approved building permit for a 1-story addition at this residence. And the appeal is for the amendment, and we want to, here's the plans of the approved permit. Photo of construction progress. And the amendment is to alter the width of the new stair that's going from the 2nd floor to the new 3rd floor to make it less than 36 inches, which is required. And we are doing that to, make more space for 2 living programs, which would be the restroom or the bathroom and a new closet, rather than squeezing that over. And the 2'6" is actually 1 inch wider than the existing stair below, as you know, in these little tiny row houses. And all the clouded is what's proposed on the amendment.
So we saw a picture of actual construction. What is, has the partition walls been built yet, or the stair opening? And what were they built to?
Just the exterior walls have been built according to the approved building permit.
So they put up the exterior walls without the new floor?
No, I believe the new floor is there.
So what
The-
stair opening width was put on for the new floor?
I am not sure. I'll have to ask the contractor, but what's been approved was 36 inches.
Right, okay.
Right.
And this is just to buy more room on the third floor?
Yes. And we are keeping the corridor width 3 feet. As you can see next to the 2'6" here.
And is this drawing, this is the existing second floor and then the new third floor?
Correct. Yes.
So if the new stairs were shown at an actual 36-inch width, the
Correct.
existing hallway would be 1'6" wide, roughly.
Correct. What would happen is the yes, the on the approved plans, the wall shifts over, so the bathroom is smaller.
And
I'm talking
what does
about on the
that make
second
the
floor.
hallway?
Oh, I'm sorry, on the second floor. Yes, that is correct. Yes.
How was this shown originally?
I will have to take a look at the original permit set. But it was shown that that wall, existing wall, is not to be moved, and that is the main reason, I guess, on top of this bathroom width, is we don't want to change the wall, the existing wall, to make those bedroom smaller. We had to increase that width of 2 feet, or I'm sorry, 1'11.5".
Oh, so originally you were going to move those walls. Okay.
No, I'm sorry, we were not going to move the walls. It was going to be shown. I can look up what it was shown as.
Are you going to be showing that?
Yes, sorry, I'm trying to.
Okay.
Yes, so we actually did not have it dimensioned on the approved plan here.
Okay.
Would be this width right here.
Right.
That would have been 1'6" or whatever.
Roughly, yeah.
1'5", yeah. Yeah.
So going back to the, here we go.
Wayne, I suggest we caucus.
Okay, is he giving you the, we waiting something from,
No.
no, okay, all right, then we can
No.
caucus. All right, Deb, could you put them in the waiting room, please?
This is the reporter. Are we going
One
off
wait a
the
minute.
record?
We are going off the record.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Is everybody in?
Yes, Joe,
Everybody's in, Deb?
Adam? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we're here.
Okay, after a little bit of discussion, we're gonna grant the variance to you guys with the stairway being less than 2'6". All right?
Oh, that's wonderful news. Thank you all.
Good luck.
Thank you. I was going to mention we were going to have difficulty getting a new washer dryer up there, so we're so excited. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got to go to a special place to get a special washer and dryer. That's what they have in Richmond.
So I still think you're gonna have difficulty getting a washer and dryer up there, but
They
You're gonna have
take
to
them
build it in
apart.
place.
They take them
Build it
apart
in
and they
place.
bring them up. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you all so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Have a good one. Good luck.
The recording has started. We're back on the record.
So is the individual in?
yes.
Okay,
Yes, I'm
Good.
gonna change his name now.
all right. All right, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Deborah
Julie Jones.
Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections. Julian
Ryan.
Sauce, Fire Department.
Ryan McSherry, Board Counsel.
Okay, anybody testifying in the case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Please respond.
Michael, that would be you that he needs a
Michael.
response from.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't know if I was last. I do.
Okay, all right, put it into the record, Phil.
This is case number 4 on today's list, MI 2022-007-596 for the property located at 928 North 63rd Street. The appellant's name is Michael Reed. Mr. Reed, if you could state your name and spell your last name for the record, please.
Michael Reed, R-E-I-D.
Okay, Michael, you want to present the case?
Okay. Back in 2017, I purchased my first property of life from a wholesaler, and I used a VA loan. I'm a veteran. Used a VA loan to purchase the property, and I lived there for approximately 5 years. When I purchased the property, it was already a 4-unit building. The building next to it was to the left of it, so that would be 926, was also a 4-unit building, and then the building the other side of the twin was a 3-unit building. This was my first agreement of sale. I guess it's no excuse, but it was my first agreement of sale, and it said multifamily, and I thought that was enough. Again, I mean, so when I purchased the building, it wasn't until I was ready for to actually occupy it with other people, because when I brought it, it was tenant unoccupied. It wasn't until then that I realized that the zoning wasn't right when I tried to get a renter's license, and that turned into like a cascade of events. Most of the information I received was from my real estate agent. And she told me about a process that we had to go through with the community, which was the zoning board. And I thought that would be it. So when we went through that process, we went to the RSO meeting in Overbrook Park. I presented my case to them. They understood. They had some things that they wanted me to monitor, such as the parking and the trash, just with the influx of tenants. And then obviously to make sure I allow the rent to not be as high as most people could afford it. So I accepted all of their terms, not terms, but their suggestions. And moving on, I went to the ZBA, which was down on 15th and Arch. I presented my case to them, basically saying, hey, when I brought it to look like this, here goes the pictures. I didn't change anything. I just painted, really. And they said, okay. And then at that point, me and my real estate agent thought I was done. So I thought that everything was fine. It wasn't until I had like a tenant that was like, all right, like it wasn't somebody I knew, it wasn't family. Like when I first started, I was just renting out to my family, and friends and family who needed a place, you know. But actually, when I started having like real tenants going through a real estate agent, I was trying to get my ducks in order. It was during COVID, and then I realized that just because I went to the ZBA, there was still another part to the process. I was supposed to take the approval and the permit that I received from the ZBA down to L&I for the L&I portion. You know, fast forward through COVID, I spoke with a gentleman down there at the L&I desk, very, very nice guy. I can't remember his name, I'm so sorry, but he was like, hey, well, your permit was supposed to expire, like, I guess you had like 6 months, but it's been almost a year. And I said, hey, I'm so sorry, I thought I was done. He was like, you might have to go back to the RSO and the ZBA. I said, all right. Well, he did some due diligence and talked to some people, and he said, hey, we'll still accept your permit. Then you have to go through this L&I process. And that's what I've been going through the last, I guess, better part of a year, getting architects and blueprints and schematics, and then turning all of that stuff over to you guys, having that sort of conversation. And then the reason why we're here today is because that they said that there's a possibility that even though I feel like the sprinklers would be an encumbrance, that there's a scenario where I might, just because like they have to refuse me because I refuse to put in sprinklers, but there's a way that if this thing was I could still be allowed to have a multi-family building without having to pay for the sprinklers, which were quoted at about $46K. Plus, and that was just the sprinkler installation. That's not the loss in rent or the like putting everything back to normal. So I guess that's why I'm here, and that's been my process thus far since roughly late 2017, 2018.
So when you bought this place, you thought it was?
Yes, sir. When I purchased the place, I purchased it from a wholesaler. My best friend got his first rental property, or his first duplex, like multifamily place, and it kind of spurred it in me. So I reached out to my real estate agent who I used to go to school with, and my best friend. They went and saw a place while I was away. Sometimes I go away for like treatment for my PTSD, anxiety. I'm a post 9/11 veteran. So while I was away, they said, hey, Mike, this place is good. And then I just let USAA take care of it along with my real estate agent. But the agreement of sale that I signed, that I submitted to the ZBA, was that this was a 4-family property. And when I actually got to view the property myself, it was a 4-family property. There were people living there, but I asked that they told me I could be allowed to purchase it empty. As to not have the tenants, and I only had one tenant that stayed for like an extra 2 weeks. But from everything that I thought I knew about how to make sure properties were what they say they were, I thought I did it. It wasn't until later I understood about Phila.gov and checking the map, understanding that, all right, RSA 5, RSA 1, RM1, et cetera, and then going down the drop-down menus for permits and applications, variances, those sorts of things. But as far as I knew, it was a 4-family property, and the agreement of sale said RM1, and I never thought to question it. But now I'll question everything.
I got you. The thing is, this happens a lot here. Well, it happens often. And
Okay.
My problem is that when someone buys a property, they should be told what the original property was an R2 or an R3, whatever it is, and at the time they purchase it, and that's not mandatory. They can sell you a bill of goods. It's not a bill of goods, and
Absolutely.
that we have that problem a couple times here, and there should be something. It doesn't help you right now, but it should be something that they're not allowed to sell something to a person, in the state it is, if it's not legalized what it should be. And that happens here all the time. So, I don't know what the heck to do with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell if they renovated it right before you bought it?
No, not right before, no. I don't
Do
believe
you have
so.
any photos of the inside?
Let me see, 928. I don't. I mean, I believe my real estate agent might have some.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But I might have because USAA, my bank was involved, and they had to get an appraisal because it was a VA-backed mortgage, VA mortgage. I'm looking through my documents now to see if I have that there, because that would have had the pictures right before I purchased it.
Right. Yeah.
I just need a second.
Yeah, take your time.
I did just move in November, and I got a brand new device, and I've got like 7 terabytes worth of stuff, but I can send it in an email once I do find it, or if somebody has Google, the pictures of what it looks like on the inside are on there. And you guys aren't the ZBA. I also have that ZBA presentation, but I just don't have any of that. I'm so sorry. I did not know that this was going to happen today. I would have become more prepared, because this was really important to me. I've been doing this for 4.5 years. I met so many friends at Illinois. Not friends, but you guys are nice down there. No offense to everybody else. But no. I mean, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're not. I'm not gonna say Illinois is like Disneyland, but when they understand that you're.
No, you're right. It's like Disneyland. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Right. But no,
Do you
I
know-
mean.
Sorry, Michael.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you know whether there are multiple meters, electric meters? in the
Yes,
property?
yes. There are 5 electric meters.
Okay.
1 for each unit. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. That's another place. Here, there's no common lighting, so there are 4 meters for the 4 different units.
All units.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's a 4-gang meter bank, 200 amps per. I've been in electricity until the good thing about it is after this first place in the fiasco, I said I have to do this right. And ever since then, I actually just finished up my second one. So I've been helping friends with stuff. So now I act like I know what I'm doing. Talking about.
Yeah. Well, when you get beat up, you find out what you're doing.
Oh no,
right
man!
wrong.
Listen, man. I feel like anybody Mike Tyson fought except for Buster Douglas right now. I swear. But hopefully,
if we can see a picture of those 4 meters or 5 meters, what you have,
Yes.
what
I can call one of my tenants right now and tell her to text to go outside. I
take
just
a
have
picture,
to take a picture of the meter
send
bank
it to you.
and send it to me, and I can share it my screen.
Okay, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put you in the waiting room for a second, get that done, and then bring it back to us.
Absolutely,
Okay, Michael?
yes, sir.
Alright,
Hey, Brooke, can you do me a favor? Can you walk outside and take a
Did you
video?
put Mike in the waiting room?
Hold on one second.
Okay.
What are you laughing about?
Uh,
All right,
You
back on the
devil.
record.
okay. Where's Michael?
I'm here.
You there, Mike?
I am
How'd you
here.
make out?
I have a video and picture. I have a picture of both the meter bank and the front of the house, so you see it's the same house. And then I have a video that goes from the front of the house down to the meter bank. I just sent it to Miss Deborah.
Dad, can you pull that up?
Unfortunately, I don't know how to do that, so.
Can you email it to me and I can pull it up?
And
Yes,
your
I sure
email.
can.
Well, I meant let Debbie email it to me.
Oh, sorry.
He sent it to my phone, so it's kind of hard. I don't know how to do that.
You have an iPhone? Yes.
But I don't know how.
Yeah,
to
Debbie, you
send
just want
it.
to forward it.
If you can send it to, you can send it to my email.
Okay, I'm gonna do that right now. D. Deborah Richardson.
D. Deborah, yes.
DRA.
Deborah Yep.
I'm with it. That's the
All right.
video. That's the video.
And I'll send it to you, Aim, because I'm not sure how to do that.
Oh.
And then it'll be a separate email with the photo. Deborah Richardson. Send. I could actually, do you guys let me share my screen?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Sure.
Well, let's do it this way.
you send it to yourself.
That would be great.
Okay. Zoom, sorry. The Zoom us will not be able to record the content screen until it is quit. So I'll just say later, because it won't let me share my screen until I'll have to leave I'll have to leave.
All right, then send it to Deborah.
I did.
Oh, okay.
All right, Deb, send it to,
All right, I am. Hold on.
I just had to make sure she did it right. It looks good.
Amy, did you get them?
No, I'm checking.
All right.
All right, I got one.
You get the second one?
Hold on, let me pull you guys up so I can share screen for the first one.
Okay.
Anybody need anything else?
what's that, Deb, or Aim? Is that show all four of them?
Yeah, with a blank fifth.
Okay, all right.
So one says third floor. This one, I guess at one probably means first floor. Third floor,
Third floor rear.
and I can't tell what that other one says.
That's the spare.
This one,
And then, oh yeah, I think that's the second floor. It might-
second.
Yeah,
Okay,
the way Pico had it was third floor and third floor rear, even though that they're on two different levels.
What about the basement?
Well, I guess in this scenario, the first floor would be the basement. The way that because it's 1, 2, 3, and 3 instead of B 1, 2, 3. But that's what Pico told me I had to do.
Okay.
Because
All right,
the
we
accounts
go with
were
it?
already built. I guess that's the explanation that they gave me, was that the
But-
accounts were already built as 1, 2, 3, 3R. So that's how I had to leave them.
Well, it's at least three, which would be R2, so.
okay. So we're gonna grant the variance. And Michael, do me a favor. The next time.
You'll never
or
see
do
me.
something, okay,
Me again.
get the CO to see what it was and everything like that.
Thank you so much.
Because we got you down, the next time you come back, we're gonna say, Mike.
No, you'll never see me. You'll never see me unless I'm running for mayor. All right. All right.
And Michael,
All right,
then
Michael,
get your
good
rental
luck.
licenses for the units.
Yes, I sure will. Now that I will. Yep. I've already got the lead hot and ready, like a little Caesar.
Okay.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
Mike, good luck.
All right,
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Okey dokey. How many people, Deb?
3, and we're back on the record. Hi,
Okay.
Rustin.
Hi, how are you? Long time no see, everybody.
Yes.
Man, they're bringing the heavy hitters in, huh?
Just for today.
All right, we're back
Uh,
on the record.
Is everybody in?
Yes.
Yes, on my end.
Okay. All right. We recording, Deb?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Julian Sellers, Fire Department.
Ryan McSherry, Board Counsel.
Okay. Anybody testifying in the case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Please respond back to me.
I do.
Rustin?
I do.
Okay. Anybody else going to be testifying?
I do.
Okay. Anybody else?
I do.
Going once, going twice? Okay, we got everybody, right?
Yes.
All right, put it into the record, Phil.
Yes, sir. This is case number 5 on the list, MI 2022-007-595 for the property located at number 32 through number 34 Strawberry Street. The appellant is Joseph J. Semerina. Mr. Semerina, are you here today?
Yes,
Could you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Joseph Smerina, Smerina.
Okay, who's gonna present the case? Rustin?
Yeah.
All right,
Rustin,
go ahead, fire away.
so Rustin Oler, Harmon Deutsch Oler Architecture. Give you a little bit of background. Joe Smerina is a friend of mine. He's the owner of this building and also the architect of record for the project. The building is an existing 5-story building known as 32 Strawberry Street. It's on the historic register. Can I share my screen? Can I do that?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. All right, so if everybody can see that. This is the existing building here. As you can see, it's an existing 5-story type 3 structure, historic in Old City. The building's completely landlocked. It's surrounded on every side and the rear by a property line and a building immediately abutting it. So our only access or egress to the building is this frontage on Strawberry Street. Let me get to some plans. So the current building does not have any rated floors, does not have a sprinkler system, has current residential units in it, and has a 1-hour rated stair tower as a single means of egress. As part of the renovation, we intend to fully renovate the building into a multifamily building instead of the existing mixed-use building that it is. And we are seeking a variance today for the single means of egress primarily, and we can go through those points if you want. As part of the renovations, we will be, so here you can see the existing stair tower. This is the 3rd floor. I'll go to the 1st floor and zoom in here for you. So here you can see the stair tower comes down here, and then it currently crosses across the lobby and exits here. We are going to put a separate entrance in for the 1st floor, so that 1st floor will meet its own travel distance and exit requirements, so there's no variance or relief requested here. We'll be putting in a new set of doors here, so the stair tower has closer and more direct exit. As part of the renovations, we will be installing a full sprinkler system within the building, which there currently is none. Not required by code, but what we are proposing is increasing the rating of the stair tower to a 2-hour rating, where 1 hour is required by the code. And the existing floors, they're currently exposed wood beams, no rating. We will be rating every floor system within the building. So we're here to ask relief today to keep and maintain the existing ones there in the building with those life safety upgrades being made.
What type of sprinkler system you putting in there, Rustin? 13?
Joe, can you answer that?
Yes, it'll be a fully automatic sprinkler system to the latest code 903. I believe it's 903.
Is it a 13 or 13R?
It's not a R, it's a 13.
All right, so
13?
full 13 system.
It would have to be a 13 system.
Cause it's over 4 stories, right?
Yeah, it'll have a standpipe also in the fire stair at each level.
Which it currently does not.
Yeah, and just to note, the only relief is really for the upper apartment, which is a pre-existing apartment and currently has its entrance on the 3rd floor. So the 3rd floor enters the 4th and 5th apartment. It's a 3-level unit.
Yeah, so this is an existing bi-level apartment at the 4th and 5th floor, which would remain with alterations. And the entrance to the apartment is here.
So the only issue is the second second thing of egress.
Yeah, so due to the extent of the renovations, it requires a second means of egress, which we don't have the ability to provide.
It's our understanding that there was an affidavit of restricted use for the 4th and 5th floors applied for earlier last year.
That would not have been by us and not something that we're aware of.
We just purchased the building in June or July of.
Oh, okay.
So it may have been the previous owner.
Right. And there's no roof deck proposed as part of this, is that correct?
Correct. There's no roof deck.
And you said the stairs are existing?
Correct.
And the opening in the 5th floor
Is
down to the 4th floor, that's existing as well?
That's also existing, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this apartment from a structural and layout standpoint, for the most part, exists. We're reconfiguring some bathrooms, moving the kitchen from here to here, but for the most part, the apartment is this.
Are you planning on a water curtain around that opening on the 5th floor?
We
4th floor, I'm sorry, on the 4th floor?
You're saying around here?
Yeah, around the opening, yeah.
It'll be enclosed with a partition.
No, he's talking about at the 4th floor where you have the double height space, if we would put sprinkler heads to create a water curtain here.
Right, every 6 feet.
So not something that we're proposing, but if that's something the board would like as part of the approval, that we can implement that.
Mhm.
But there's a partition on the bedroom side, but it's on the other 2 sides that would be impacted.
Yeah, correct. We have a partition here and here, and then this is open at above.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you entered into the upper unit apartment from the 3rd floor.
Correct. The unit entry door is currently here.
Yeah.
At the 3rd floor.
Okay, but the 3rd floor is its own unit.
The 3rd floor, yeah, so in the stair tower, there's 2 doors at the 3rd floor. One goes into its own unit at the 3rd
Okay.
floor, and then there's a door to the stairs that lead to the 4th and 5th floor bi-level apartment.
Okay.
So that 3rd floor apartment is currently a double-story apartment with a 2nd floor.
Correct.
So right now there's a 2-story apartment over a 2-story apartment. So we're proposing to put fire separations at the 1st floor ceiling, 2nd floor ceiling, 3rd floor ceiling, which currently is unprotected and also has a giant opening between the 2nd and 3rd floor.
Have you toyed with the idea of a fire escape on the front?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Have you toyed with the idea of a fire escape on the front of the building?
Well, it's a historic property or historic district, so we submitted to the historic for the change of the door, and what we went through there didn't give me any high expectations of putting a fire escape on the front of the building, but no, we didn't specifically ask for it. We didn't think it would be considered.
I went through the historical file with historic and we couldn't find anything in the archive that previously had a fire escape on this building.
You want to caucus?
Yeah.
Can you put them in the waiting room, please? Deb?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody in the waiting room?
Yeah,
Almost.
Okay.
There we are. Nope.
all right. We're back on the record, John.
Is everyone in? Okay. Unfortunately, we
yes.
have, okay, unfortunately, we have a problem. We need 2 sets of stairs and there's no other way around it, or a fire escape that you could put out there.
If the 4th and 5th floor are to be,
Or restrict the 4th and 5th floor. Do you have that restriction now from the previous owners?
No,
Restriction.
No?
no, we have a current rental license for the unit. It's it's occupiable.
wow.
There's no other way we can see what to do that, you know what I mean? Because definitely,
We've been
Preston, are you
existing,
saying when it has a rental license, is there also a CO that is in place for that, or?
Yes. The existing unit, the upper unit is existing with the single means of egress. All of the other units don't require the second means of egress. It's only that, and that's why we designed the building in such a way to leave the existing non-complying unit alone and only change the occupancy on the floors below.
yeah, and improve the rest of the fire safety of the building, which doesn't currently exist. Like that unit exists like that.
It
If we
exists,
don't
but
do that, there's still somebody in there.
is it, wait, it exists or it legally exists? And I guess that's,
It exists.
And
And also the floor below exists in the same condition. So you have two-story unprotected, unsprinkled units. And we're trying to protect the building at every floor, add a sprinkler system and reduce that existing legality to 1 rather than 2. And we're not putting another stair in here. So the alternate would be leave it the way it is and just renovate the 2 duplex apartments.
All over the place.
But the previous owner got an affidavit of restricted use for those upper 2 floors. So I think,
Yeah, I can't find that anywhere. It's not in any of the files or archives that we have anywhere.
Not aware of that.
and why would they have gone to do that if they were, if they legally were occupying it? I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, when Joe bought it, all that
Just
stuff.
thank you when I bought it.
Yeah, but it was occupied just before he bought it.
And as you know, one of the big concerns that we have, not, related to this, is that you purchase a property without, an obligation from a seller to divulge, to provide a CO or anything that, makes a buyer aware of what's going on with the building.
You're saying that there's a restriction that upper floor is not able to be used?
We understand the top 2 floors were restricted, you couldn't use them.
And where would that live, or how would we find that?
I can share my screen real quick if you
Okay.
like.
Your screen is not public record, is it?
Excuse me?
Well, we can come back to that, Joe. Let him show us what he's seeing, and then we can
If
address
it's an
it.
issue, I can just forward it to, the chairman. And
No. I mean, it would be.
would you
I don't-
like to see or no?
Yes.
This is from a previous case.
Yes,
Okay.
please. We would love to see. Thank you.
Where's Ryan? Are we all right to show it, Ryan?
I would say it's okay.
All right. Good,
This is,
Joanne.
this is from a previous BBS case.
No.
No,
Okay.
So it wasn't the fourth, it was just the fifth floor.
Or-
The fourth floor was occupied, but the fifth floor was not.
Right.
So I think I could speak to this. There's a violation on the property for installing a sprinkler system.
Exactly.
And
That
I
was
think- Yeah, this was probably them trying to, they were postponing, the previous owners were trying to postpone installing the fire system.
At the first floor and basement, which we have to do no matter what. Yeah.
They're gonna sell the place, so why put a system in?
Well, they did contract with the sprinkler company and they paid $100,000. They engaged in a contract for over $100,000 to put a fire sprinkler and fire alarm system in the building. And I assumed those contracts when I purchased the building. But those contracts were only to sprinkle the cellar and the first floor, as Rustin just said. And now
Yeah.
we're proposing to expand the sprinkler to the upstairs, to convert those other floors.
Yeah, so as you guys are aware, it doesn't limit the occupancy of the fourth floor unit, right? There was a bill that went through the mayor's office that requires any existing building that's over 5 floors to have the basement and first floor sprinklered. So we would do that no matter what. By doing these renovations, we would sprinkler the whole building. But once that basement and first floor gets sprinklered, that fifth floor would be allowed to be occupied as an existing use again. Because we would be compliant with the code. The use has never been abandoned. The unit's never been renovated. The CO never would have been revoked,
Is there a set aside from, in that code about 5 foot from a building or something like that? Isn't there something in there? With that code that they put in after that fire at Chestnut Street? In
It
order to
does.
sprinkle our historic buildings?
I think it talks about like if you meet like a certain fire separation distance, you don't need to do that. I mean, that section wouldn't be applicable to us because we're property line to property line. And it requires just the sprinkling of the basement and first floor, which Joe knows he has to do. But the rest of the building, the upgrading of the stair tower, the standpipes, the sprinkling of the building, the rating of the floors, currently does not have to be done. And the unit exists and is occupiable once that sprinkler's in.
Can I just understand what that document means? It means there's a restriction on occupying the building,
Fifth floor, just the fifth floor.
and that's
Is that in place now that you bought that?
No, we had never seen that, and no
But
work's been done to restrict access to the fifth floor. It's still a bi-level fourth and fifth floor apartment.
it didn't come up in the title search, and we didn't see it anywhere in public record. So I don't understand just what that means. That means I cannot occupy that space as it stands right now?
I
can't
don't know.
I can't speak to that. There was the previous owner. It was the
Yeah.
previous owner. And the previous owner was cited for not having a sprinkler system.
Yeah, they did it.
Building that was 45 feet tall.
Yeah,
And his I guess his strategy to avoid putting in the sprinkler system was to restrict use to that fifth floor. That's the only way he would be able to avoid or incur the expense of putting that sprinkler system.
so that would be just to remove a violation probably that they had. But the work was never
Exactly.
done. The work was never done. It was never restricted. It was never implemented. A permit to restrict it was never pulled.
Rustin, do you guys have a CO for the residential use on the fourth and fifth floor level
Yes.
right now? You do?
I mean, the city doesn't give COs for buildings that were permitted. Like I can't go find a CO that was pulled, 20 years ago.
So
That
the
doesn't
only
happen.
the only CO I found based on this, I could talk to Fred Marshall. He's the one that did the review, but the only CO I found based on my just this current research right now, this is the only CO I found in our public record, and it had offices all throughout. So you guys probably have you said that.
No, I have a newer C of O. If you can.
Yeah, so this was back in 1970. So if
We-
you have
we had
something
one
newer,
2 residential units, right? 2
Yeah.
residential units and an office?
C of O says, photography studio on the ground floor, and then 2 apartments, 2 double height apartments.
Mhm.
That's what about, if you give me a minute, I'll try to find it.
Yeah, so, if you have that CO, that's fine, but that's part of the reason why you're permitted to have that license for the 4th and 5th floor level, because there was probably a previous CO that was issued
Correct.
to allow that. But for this specific application, because you're converting the R3 to an R2 throughout the building, like you said, that's reason why we're in front of the board.
Yep.
You need to have 2 access no matter what. So per department policy, you're required to have 2 access, and that's where I stand at that.
And so, Jace, if they were to kind of keep things as is, according to that earlier CO, they would have to be limiting it to 2 bi-level apartments.
Correct.
As long as they leave it as an R3 occupancy and they're not changing anything based on the CO that they say they have, yeah, they wouldn't have to do anything.
But once it goes to R2, then it needs 2 exits and everything else.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the existing building wouldn't be compliant today if we permit it as an R3 use,
Right.
Like it doesn't have sprinklers, it doesn't have rated floors, but so we're trying to make everything better, but.
For the CO that you have on file with you there, what year was that?
Let me look for it. I'll try to dig it up. It was more recent than that, though.
Okay.
Yeah. And we agree that what you're proposing would make things better, but we're also looking at it in the context of other buildings and precedents of what, we grant. So it's,
But I'm not familiar with your town. I'm under the impression that I have the right to legally occupy that apartment. You're saying that I don't, or you're saying that somebody?
They're not saying that.
Okay, so you say somebody came before you to request a restriction or something? Or was it granted? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
No, they're not saying any of that, Joe. Yeah, I feel like leaving the building as is unsafer than what we're proposing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that is feasible to develop this property with a second fire stair. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna remain the 2 double height units. And if that's the case, we're gonna sprinkle the cellar and the 1st floor by law, and everything else is gonna be unprotected. So the result is gonna be a bunch of unsafer building than what we're proposing, in my opinion. I mean, there's just no way you could fit another fire stair in this building.
It looks like 94 is when the apartments were implemented. Or 95, zoning was in 94. Just trying to see what I can find online. The CO in the record's older than that. That's from the 70s. Any thoughts of things that we can do to help?
We also have a fire alarm system going in the building.
Yeah, currently we do not have a monitored fire alarm for the upper units, so.
Jace, I assume that would be required if any work's done, but not required if no work is done. I guess it's said.
Well, they have the CO on file, so they could remain as is, but for the R2, like I said, you need 2 exits.
Like I said, we don't require the 2 exits except for the top floor unit. The top floor, the other units are permitted with the 1 means of egress. It's only the unit that's above the fourth floor, according to the code objection.
No, you're converting the whole, so the R3 is, if it was 2 dwelling units throughout, but now that you're
No.
putting more dwelling units, it's R2 throughout.
No, the R2 permits the single means of egress in the sprinkler building. Okay, the objection, if you
Up
go
to the
through.
third floor level.
Yeah, up to the third floor. So he's saying existing.
And it allows,
I'm sorry, excuse me, this is the court reporter. Could we please not talk over each other? Thank you.
Sorry.
Go ahead, continue.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so if, according to the code analysis, we're permitted with the sprinkler building, with the travel distance and the number of occupants, to have one means of egress on the first, second, and third floor units. The only unit that required was the top unit, and that unit has the entrance on the third floor. And at that point, it's supposed to go into 2 exits. But because it's existing, according to the existing building code, we were able to put a fire separation there and not convert that unit, not change the occupancy of that unit. So that was the thought, was that leave that existing non-compliant so we didn't have to deal with it and change the use of the other floors below it. Otherwise, we would have made a floor-through apartment on every floor. But then we wouldn't have had egress on the 2 upper apartments.
Yeah. Ted, you're muted if you're talking.
Sorry. Yeah, because you're adding an additional unit on a lower floor.
Yep.
You're increasing the risk. You've got, 2 tenants, 2 kitchens, more potential for fire. It just increases the risk level for the upper floor tenants. So that's why it changes.
Understood.
It's you can't cherry pick it. It's you got to look at it comprehensively.
We understand we're not in compliance. That's why we're here. But we're trying to make the best, proposal of all the different alternatives that are available.
Yeah, so we thought by upgrading the stair tower rating, increasing the, ability of somebody to exit, rating the floors between the units, which is currently not, makes that upper unit, which currently exists, far safer than it is. It's now in a fully sprinkler building, has an extra rating for its means of egress, and it has a rating between the unit below it, which it currently does, and it has standpipes. So we thought this was far better than leaving it as is.
It's far better. I'll agree with you. It's far better, but we have a precedent set here. And once we go away from our precedent, then we're gonna have a problem on all these other places. They'll refer to this building here. And that's an issue for us.
And you can tell them, right? You can tell them that the owner made the building much safer than it was before. Now, I'm an
And they'll
architect.
say that they're making the building much safer because and then we'll continue to have one form of egress, and that's an issue. And
One protected sprinkled form of egress. Yeah. The issue is, I'm an architect for 30 years. And at some point, right, I look at all the codes and all the rules and all of the things, and then I take a step back and I just look at common sense. Okay, you have a tinder box here that's a unprotected wood structure. Okay, you have a person who's going to modernize the building, put in new electrical systems, sprinkle the building, increase the fire protection, increase the fire ratings. But the code, the rules make you do something that's not the common sense thing to do. And I think what we need to do is just look at, common sense. And I understand where you are with precedents and things like that, because, they'll take these plans and every guy in the city will, want to build a building with one means of egress. But the point is that we are upgrading the buildings. You're not just giving it away. They're doing major upgrades to the sprinkler system, is hundreds of thousands of dollars, in fire protection and sprinklers. So it's not the same situation that it was prior.
Yeah, and if you look at it on a case by case basis, you know, I mean, this is a 1,200 square foot lot. It's not something that even a new construction would accommodate 2 stair towers. You know, we have an existing 5-story historic building on a 1,200 square foot footprint.
Like I said, I agree with you. But we have a precedent and we have to stay with it. And, you know, would it be a safer building to a certain degree? Yeah, except getting the firemen in and getting people out. A lot of the egress isn't for getting people out, it's getting firemen in.
Yep.
So.
Okay. Ted, you're muted again.
Yeah, as we normally state, there always is the ability to appeal this to the Court of Common Pleas.
All right.
So that's, you know, that's where we're at, guys.
All right, thank you guys.
The only other thing that we were considering was to do a scissor stair that would land in the lobby.
So be what, 2 means to 1 exit?
They would come together in the same common lobby on the ground floor. The only other thing that made sense, and that would still be a dramatic modification of the plan. It just, you know, you wouldn't be able to have those 2 means of egress go directly to the outside without destroying the whole first floor. But you can have them.
Rain?
Sorry?
No, I'm just talking to this Randy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit when we were, you know, meeting independently, and the one concern there was, as you say, just trying to be able to get them to lead independently to the street. We've discussed this in the past, the issue of remoteness of, you know, access to those stairs is something that we've, you know, granted variances to. This, you know, and a related issue is kind of the elevator that is in the exit. I mean, this one way out and you're passing the elevator. One thing is the stair enclosure as you're proposing it pressurized? And is the elevator or the elevator?
So the elevator currently does not go to the roof, and it's not pressurized. The stair tower is currently not pressurized, but we could pressurize it. We could also create a water curtain in front of the elevator shaft.
Fire rated door between the elevator and the.
Yeah, we have a fire rated door that is an auto closer for the elevator, and we can do 2 stair towers, but they wouldn't have independent means, you know, they would meet the remoteness on all the floors as a independent, you know, New York fire tower, but they would still come to the same lobby.
Do you want to caucus on the switchback stairs?
2 means
Sure.
to single exit with the water curtain in front of the elevator door at every floor.
Okay, you want to put the guys in, want to put them in the waiting room and we'll discuss that.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Oh, still here.
Back on the record.
Okay, we're back on the record. Okay, we're gonna deny the variance, but you can resubmit it with this, with the scissor stairs, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you.
Okay? All right, guys?
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay,
All
talk to you
right,
guys
bye.
later. Good luck. And you can resubmit it to Jace. Jace, they can just send it in to you?
They can, so since it'll be denied, I think Fred Marshall will go over and let me know, Rustin or Joseph, when you resubmit it, and then I'll talk it over with Fred.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys. All
It
right.
would come back to us
Hi,
after they.
Rustin.
reviewed it.
Nice seeing you.
Bye, Rustin.
Bye, everybody.
I